So we've been talking about frequency tables and line plots. So now we're going to put those together. Now earlier in a video that you watched, they showed you how they made a frequency table when they asked students what day of the week they were born. And when you look up here, this was all of their data, and that was a big jumbled up messy paragraph. So that's why they put it in this nice frequency table, and it's way easier to read like this. We already know that frequency means how many votes or how many people. But then there's also something called relative frequency up here. You may remember we've talked about relative frequency before, and relative frequency just means percent. Just because 4 people were born on Monday, that does not mean 4%. Because remember, there was a total of 30 students who were surveyed. So there were 4 people out of 30 that said they were born on Monday, but percent, remember, means out of 100. Right now, 4 is out of 30. So we need to come over here in this workspace. We're going to have to set up some proportions to find the percent or to find the relative frequency. So remember, we're going to set up our proportions. We know for sure right now, looking at our frequency table, it's easy to read, that there were 4 out of 30 students who were born on a Monday, but we want to find the percent, and we know percent means out of 100. So here's our proportion. I do not think that there's a nice scale factor for this one, so we're going to have to cross multiply, divide by the lonely guy. So that's going to give us 400 divided by our lonely guy of 30. So I'm going to give you a couple seconds, see what you can do with that. Obviously 30 goes into 40 one time. 1 times 30 is 30. Keep going, see what you get. So you should notice that I think that's going to start repeating. So we're just going to round it off and say it's 13.3. So go back to our table, and in our percent column, our relative frequency column, we're going to put 13.3% of the people said they were born on Monday. Now let's do Tuesday. We know that looking at my chart, there were 7 people out of the 30. So 7 out of 30, but we want percent, and percent means out of 100. So we're setting up our proportion. Once again, don't really see an easy scale factor for us. So we're going to cross multiply, divide by the lonely guy. So that's going to be 700 divided by 30. 30 goes into 70 twice, because 2 times 30 is 60. 10 left over, bring down. Finish up the rest, see what you can do with that. As you can see, it's going to be another one that it's going to keep on repeating. So we'll just round it off, and we'll say that that's 23.3% of the people were born on Tuesday. Let's move on to Wednesday. Said there were 6 people born on Wednesday, so let's go up here, set up our proportion. 6 out of 30 people were born on Wednesday, but we want to find the relative frequency or the percent, so we have to set that up over 100. And when I cross multiply, we get 600 divided by 30. 30 goes into 60 twice. 2 times 30 is 60. 30 goes into 0 times. So that one worked out nice and even. So Wednesday, 20% of the people were born on Wednesday. Thursday, 6 people again. So we already worked this one out. We don't do it again. We just said if 6 people out of 30, that really means 20%. 3 people were born on Friday. Now, we could come over here and set up our proportion, and we could say, okay, 3 out of 30 people, and then put that over 100 for percent. And that would be just fine. Or, isn't 3 half of 6? So let's just cut this 20% in half. What's half of 20? 10. So 10% of the people were born on Friday. Saturday, we have another 3. We just said 3 people meant 10%. And now 1 person. So let's go over here and set that one up. 1 out of 30 people were born on Sunday. We want to find percent. So when we cross multiply, what's 100 divided by 30? Well, 30 goes into 100 3 times. 3 times 30 is 90. I have to decimal drop. Looks like we have another repeating one. So we're going to round that off to 3.3%. Always remember, we said percent means out of 100, so when we put all of our percents together, it should add up to 100%. Because we rounded off, it's not going to add up perfectly because these kept on repeating, so we had to round. And I'm pretty sure when I added these up, it's going to equal 99.9%. And since we rounded, we're going to say 99.9%. That's good. We got pretty close to 100. So let's take this information. Frequency chart is good, but you could also represent that in a line or a dot plot. So we have our line. What were we talking about in this specific problem? We need to label it. We were talking about the days of the week. So we're going to label each mark. We have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here we go. Super easy. We're going to look back to our frequency table. How many people were born on Monday? How many people? Not percent. How many people? They just said 4, right? So if you want to make dots, we'll make 4 dots representing 4 people. For Tuesday, 7 people. So if you want dots, you can do dots or you can do X's, either one. We need 7 of them. Wednesday, 6. So you need 6 marks of some kind. You probably shouldn't mix X's and dots. So if you want dots, do dots all the way. If you want X's, do X's all the way. Thursday, there were 6. Friday had 3. Saturday had 3. Sunday just had 1 person. Remember, each dot represents 1 person or 1 thing. If I didn't have this frequency table and I didn't already know what the total students were, if I just counted my dots, you should have 30 dots, right? And now we can take all of this information. If I wanted to know more about my data, if I wanted to know the mean, median, mode, or range of my data, I can either look at my line plot or we could look back at our frequency table, whichever one you like to look at. Remember mean, or we also call that the average. What was the average number of people born on each day? Do we remember how to find the average or the mean? We add them all up. And then we divide. Well, didn't we already add them up? We said there was a total of 30 dots. So we're going to take our 30 and we have to divide by how many days of the week are there? I hope we all know that's 7. So when I come over here, 30 divided by 7. 7 goes into 30 4 times. 7 goes into 20 twice. That's 14. 6 left over, bring down. And 7 goes into 60. Is it 8? 7 times 8 is 56. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and stop there because it looks like it might take a while. I'm just going to round it off and say that our mean or our average is about 4.28. So the average number of people born on each day would be about 4 votes per day was the average. A little more than 4. Median, that's the middle. So we need to put our numbers in order first. I would probably look at my frequency table. Here's all the numbers I need. So we had, let's do least to greatest. We had 1, a 3, a 3, a 4, 6, 6, 7. All right, now we're crossing them off. Median means middle. We have one middle number. Our median is 4. Mode, remember the most. Which day had the most people born on it? If you're looking at your data chart or your dot plot, there were some columns that were the same height. I see 2 3s and I see 2 6s. But what did those numbers represent? The different days. So the 6s, we had the Wednesday, Thursday, and then the 3s, that was on Friday and Saturday. Range, biggest minus smallest. So the most dots we had, or the biggest number we had over here on our table, was 7. The smallest amount, we just had 1 dot over here. So 7 minus 1 is 6. So our range is 6.